So now we are going to make a human figurine. I have the shapes here ready that we've learned in the basic shapes lesson. Okay, so that's the human body, and there are the two hands made. I'm just going to cut out and then show how we could just bring out the fingers in it, and a ball I'm going to shape it and show, and then make the shape for the face. So this ball is for the face. So I have two of black. I'm going to make the legs using it, which means the pants color is going to be black. I'm going to do two kinds. One is for making a standing figurine. I'm going to show how to set the legs with the help of the skewer for a standing leg, and then this one I'm just going to model and show how to make the figurine sit, and how we are going to have the body attached to the legs that are sitting, because you want the figurine to dry in that shape, so you don't have to later try to bend, because it is not going to, as it is going to be really very hard. Okay, so these small stuffs are for the face. The two black balls are for the eyes, and then this is for the ears, the tiny skin colors for the nose, and then the lips, all fondant sausages, and for the eyebrows. And then I have these panels here. This is for the t-shirt for the boy in white color rolled out, which I'm just going to add on the body. Okay, so let me just start with the leg, because I'm going to show two kinds of legs, right? So the standing one, so take the fondant and knead it well. First make a ball. Okay, and then start with the sausage. Okay, and for making the legs, you place your fingers on the top, and then you're just going to roll it out. As you're doing, just leave a gap here, like a half an inch gap, and don't put your fingers very close to each other. Just start with a gap, because we want this thicker mound here, and that will be for the hip. So, and keep rolling, leaving that thicker mound there. Just have equal thickness, because this will be both the legs. Just shape them. Okay, and then keeping this mound on top, we just bend this down. Okay, and flatten this out. Okay, now if you're going to make a standing figurine, you just need to get skewer in through the leg. I'm going to just dip this into glue, and holding this leg, I'm just going to screw this in, and then pass the support almost till the end of the leg, because you don't want the leg to later collapse. Okay, and I'm going to do that to the other leg as well, just dipping it in to glue, or you can use water as well. Just screwing it in, don't just push it through, just take it all the way through. Now if this is like excess here, you don't want so much, you can just cut it through. Just have the toothpick coming in on that side. Okay, so cut it through, you have a flat end to the pant. Now we could make shoes here. You can do it in the color that you prefer, like teardrop, okay, and then just pass it through the skewer and then push it in. Teardrop. Okay, so this I'm just going to get the sponge in and then insert just pushing the skewer in. So we set this figurine here with the skewer gone into the sponge, and it is going to dry out like that, and with the skewer on we will be using to poke it in the cake as well. So on the cake this is going to go with the skewer, because without that support it is just not going to stay in place. And then on top of this you just get your dressing tool in case you just want to work on finishing. Just to get the right shape that you want. Okay, so that will be the legs for the standing figurine. Now I'm just going to make the legs for the sitting one, because if you want to make a sitting figurine, you have to do that when you are making the legs, and you cannot have a standing figurine and later decide that you want to change that legs to be bent on the cake and then make them sit on the cake. So you have to decide when you're making, because they'll just dry out and they're going to break if you're going to change that shape later. So start with a seamless ball, so the steps will remain quite same. A sausage, leaving a gap in the center, just thin down and have two sausages on either sides, leaving this bump. So you have this shape, and then the next step is to bend it and make it straight. Okay, and then this bump, just flatten it out. Flatten here as well. So when you have that, you don't need a support for it to stand. So the first step is to make the figurine sit. So obviously there will be the knee part which will be here. Okay. So the body could come in on top of this, but then if this is excess, then we could just cut it out, or we could just bend this for the body to come there. But however, to have it less complicated, we just cut this out. Okay, and then just make it bent like this. Just pushing it against both my fingers. So the bend here is like quite sharp at this point, and again at this point. So here when you're shaping, then you can just decide if you want to cross the legs or if you want to just place them straight in. So then, so this I'm just going to, because the legs will be hanging, we just want the ends of the pant, and into this we can just add the shoe. I'm just going to brush water, make a teardrop, brush water, then I'm just going to fix it here. Now if you think that it is going to drag down and the legs are just going to pull itself down, you can just give a bit of support, because you want the leg to be at a certain height and not want to drag down. But because there is weight there, you could just give in a bit of support, like where exactly you want that leg to be, the length of the leg. It is just a support, so it will not go down below that point. So just have a skewer just poked in through. So this leg will just rest on it and not pull itself down anymore. So you can just be sure of the height of the leg, that it is not going to be too long. So we will be removing that. It is not part of the figurine, it is just like a support. Okay, so and then on top of this I'm just going to place the body. So we could just shape the back so it's not going to be flat. And then I'm just going to use water here, and then place the figurine. Now the figurine can by itself stay if it is quite dried, but then if you're just going to place it on a cake and then allow it to transport like that, we just want to be a little more sure. So now here on a standing figurine, the skewer is just gone from both the sides through both the legs into the sponge here. So that is what is going to go into the cake as well. Now for a sitting figurine, you want the skewer support to go from the neck here and then just pass down through the butt. So you will use this, remove it, and so with the skewer you're going to poke it on the cake, like, because this figurine, like, you made it stand on the edge of the sponge, you will make it, sit on the edge of the sponge, you will make it sit on the edge of the cake as well. So that extra support, now I'm just going to use the skewer and pass it through the body, and it is going to pass through the leg band, and then it is going to go into the sponge as well. And this extra I'm just going to retain for the head to come, because this entire thing will be together, like the legs are together attached to the body, and then you have the same skewer up here that will keep the head also. Okay, and now when you're doing the same body to the legs that are standing, then you will have another skewer that will pass through the body all the way through, and then it will just come and stop here. You don't go beyond that point because there is a gap there. You can't be passing through that skewer. This one that we are going to attach the head, body and the leg will be from the head, body. You will leave this space for the head, attach body, and then come in all the way through and then poke it till here and then stop it. Okay, so now we have the body attached, and now to this I'm going to pick up and just do the t-shirt. Now this entire stitch is to wrap around the body here, but I'm just going to have a round neck, so I'm going to cut out a round shape which is like a semicircle. Okay, and I'm just going to pick this up, place it in the front, I'm going to cut off this excess. It is allowed to blend it with the Dresden tool at the back. Just blend in the seams, and if you still have a bit of seam left, you can just dip the Dresden tool in water and then just merge it. So now I'm just going to attach the hand. Okay. Now I'm going to work on the fingers. Now depending on whether it is the right hand or the left hand, we have the thumb facing outwards. So this is his left hand. So what I will do, the easiest way is to go place it on the body and then just bring it down here, and then we have the thumb on the outside. Okay, so cut for the thumb at an angle like that, and make a straight cut here and remove this chunk out, because it is like this gap that you're giving for the hand. Okay, and here gently press it down, that is for the fingers, and cut this into half first and then make 2 more cuts. Okay, so this one will be thumb on the other side. Remove this chunk out. And then you have 4 cuts, 1 in the middle. You do 3 cuts, so you have 4 fingers there. And then here, that's for the palm, so you just make a indent there. So with the wrist you have the 5 fingers. Now I'm just going to use water and attach with the thumb facing outward. I'm just going to press it out here. I'm going to have white fondant come out there. Same on the other side. Thumb facing out. Just press and then soften up this part. So once the hands are attached, I'm going to have the dress, which is the hands sleeves for the hand here. So I'm just going to place it depending on how much of the sleeve I want. It's like, say, the half sleeve, and then attach it and then cut off the excess here. Do that to the other side. I don't want to add water at this point because the fondant is quite soft. So I'm just going to use a Dresden tool and then tuck this in. Okay, and then on the top here as well, I'm just going to merge it in. So now I'm just going to press it here and then get the shoulder. So now once the dress is complete, just want to move on to the head. So I'm going to work on the face. Now it is a round ball. Now for the eyes, I'm just going to press down the upper half. Okay, so you just start getting a shape like that. I'm just going to press it down on the upper side. So one half you just press, so after tapering down on this part, I'm just going to make the dent for the eyes. I'm first going to mark. So into the eyes I'm just going to drop in the black fondant balls that I have. So I'm just going to drop it in fully. Let me check if it would go in fully, or I'm just going to open that hole out a bit. I'm just going to drop to check. So now it goes in. Now I want to add water. And drop it in, and to the other eye I have the other black ball. Drop it in and then just press it down. Okay, and for the nose, and for the lip, it's the thin sausage. I'm just going to make a smiley. For the eyebrows, so once you have the eyes, lip and the nose done, you just have it fixed on the body before we do the hair. So I'm just adding bit of water here, and I'm just going to drop it in. I'm going to check for the center. So I have the patches here for the hair, and then the tiny ears. Now the position for the ears will be right here in the line of the eye. So I'm just going to press it out a bit. And then attach it. Use a Dresden tool. And do the same thing to the other side. So I'm just going to add the hair. So I'm just going to make the hair texture. As I come here towards the ears, I'm just going to cut off. I'm just going to cut it out behind the ear. I'm going to cut it all the way through. You don't want a long hair here. I'm going to continue giving the texture. And do the same thing to this side as well. First create the texture. And then just go around on the ear. So just cut out here, and the hair is done. I'm just going to remove off some more because in the front you just can't see the ears, right? So I'm going to cut some part out so the ears is seen. So now once you've completed making this, you could just allow them to dry overnight, or even you could make ahead of time so it is all completely dried up and you don't have to keep the glue there sticky. So when you're going to transfer this from this brick where you set it up and put it on the cake, you want everything to be in one piece because we've applied glue in places to have the body sit on the, placed on the leg, and when you're going to lift it up, you want it to come in one piece, so you have to give good amount of drying time. Like now the only difference between this one where the leg is standing is to place this body over this, and maybe on the head part you could work on the hair and the ears and then put it on top of the standing leg, so you don't have to put too much pressure on this entire structure. But if it is dried, you could still continue to follow the same steps that we have done over the standing legs as well. And like I said, the skewer will not pass through completely, and also it's not a good idea to have a slanting skewer that passes through the entire leg and to the body to the head. So we have two skewers for the leg and then one that attaches the head body to little bit of the leg as well. So there we have a completed boy figurine, and you could follow the same steps to do the girl figurine as well, except that you have to just work around on the hair always, because we have worked on with the cute looking face. We're not giving in too many features here. So you make the girl figurine as well using the same logic, because we've been working on with the expressions here and not the features. So it is a simple eye with the eyebrow, lip and the nose. So you only play around with the hairdo, and then we have the rest of it with the same technique where you can play around with the boy and the girl figurine.